Most creators are stuck with low views and they're missing out on thousands, probably millions of views and followers because they're completely overlooking 4 critical content strategies that should be part of every single post they create. In this video, I'm going to show you the exact Instagram framework I use with my clients to help them go from struggling to get thousands of views to reaching 10,000, 50,000 people consistently and converting those views into actual followers and sales. And so far, these 4 tiny sort of tweaks are responsible for hundreds of thousands of followers and, more importantly, hundreds of thousands of dollars in revenue. What I'm about to show you might surprise you because the biggest accounts in your niche are actually doing all 4 of these strategies, but they're not really talking about them. So once you see the data behind why all of this works, you'll never look at Instagram the same way again. The first strategy that's hiding in plain sight is strategic market research, essentially. Now, I know all of you are scrolling through Instagram for inspiration before posting. We all do it, obviously. But here's the thing. You're probably looking at the wrong stuff and missing the gold mine of data that's right in front of you. Think about it like this. When Netflix wants to create a hit show, they don't just throw content at the wall and hope it sticks, even though some people might say so. But they actually analyze what's already working, what genres are trending, what storylines keep people binging, what characters audiences connect with, and then they basically take all of this data and reverse engineer those patterns into their own content so people will keep paying the subscriber fee. And they actually, I didn't know that before, but they actually have their own research department doing all of these things. And that's exactly what you need to do as well for your content, just on a little bit of a lower scale, right? So actually, let me show you the system we use in the creator mentorship at my brand new creator sprint to actually do exactly that. Basically, what you need is a list of competitors and similar accounts to yours, or even just accounts that you love from outside of your niche, for example. Usually what you do is just by scrolling down, saving things a lot, content that you like a lot, liking related content and stuff like this. And at some point, the algorithm, your Reels feed actually mainly consists of creators that are 100 times better than you, because that's how it works. But that shouldn't keep you from creating. So that's the first step. You have all of these things. The second thing you want to do is take a look at each one of these creators and try to spot patterns in especially their top performing content. So for example, what are the topics they talk about? What are the hooks? Even down to the first frame, how this whole thing looks, and how long their videos are. Maybe even look at the posting time. When usually, if you spot a pattern. Usually not really. I've done so much research, so I can tell you actually probably you're not going to find anything here, but it doesn't hurt to actually take a look at this every once in a while. Now, for all these things, I actually use an internal research tool that we basically created ourselves that my clients also get access to. So if you're part of the new creator sprint, you're going to get access to this as well to actually do just that. So for example, we take a look at this one here. It's a random example from one of our clients. This tool allows me to see ranked by views, the competitors, similar accounts ranked by views or whatever I want to rank it with. And then I see the caption and also the first comment right here. And the first thing that I actually see scrolling down here from, I think it's 3 or 4 competitors that were analyzed, is that seems like longer videos tend to do better in this niche or with these people here. Somewhere between 25 seconds and a minute. The top performing videos, even a minute 30, right to the T, which is something I've seen a lot recently with some content. But then again, it's from 2023, so let's not even take a look at that. So yeah, top performing content here, 58 seconds. There's sort of an outlier if we look here with 11 seconds, and there's another outlier with 17 seconds. But guess what? There's actually another pattern that I spot instantly, also 22 seconds right there, which is that the shorter videos, even though some of them get quite good views, tend to have sort of way lower comment rate and engagement rate in general. You don't always have to have a lot of comments, but here you can just see, well, seems like this is what the algorithm is kind of tuned for, because here's how it works. The Instagram algorithm basically takes a look at all similar creators in a niche basically, and then it kind of ranks these videos against each other. So this is why I kind of need to start to create similar content to content that's already performing well, just because the algorithm has lots of data points already. Another thing generally that I see across the board with everybody, basically every creator that I analyze, is comments tend to be the major driving force of reach. Masiri, I know he's always like, well, the most important thing is not comments, it's watch time, which is important. He also says send rate, aka shares, are cool. Unfortunately, we can't track that because the algorithm doesn't show that. But I can tell you that the most important thing to hit, the thing that will give you more views and reach by far, and the easiest, is getting more comments. As we can see here, most of these have quite a lot of comments right there. And if we look over here, one thing that I spot times again and again among the top performing videos is mostly somebody having a common trigger call to action in there somewhere, either at the top right there, either in the video itself or, you know, somewhere in the caption more down there. You know, if we look at the first comment, obviously a lot of people are commenting this thing right here. So what do they do with this? Essentially, they use ManyChat. We basically talked about this before, but it's basically a tool where you can add triggers and automations, legal automations basically, to content, and then people have to comment a certain word and you send them something. And just that exchange, because people want something, so they comment and then you send them a DM back with stuff, boosts the algorithm quite a bit. Here's the thing, analyzing hundreds of thousands of accounts, probably around 4,000 posts in the past 3 months or something like this, I have to say the whole ManyChat thing is literally its own growth hack in a way. So let's talk about this as well. Now, Missouri, like I said, always talks about this, that watch time and other things are so important. But literally, according to my data, I see it day in and day out that comments are the most important thing to get the algorithm on your side. We even a few months ago developed a system, the 60-day framework. I think we've talked about this here before, which is basically a framework where our clients use ManyChat automations and some other things in a systematic way to, I don't want to say this because it kind of sounds sketchy, but it's actually not, to farm engagement in a natural, organic way. So basically what you need to do is to, first of all, find the biggest pain point of your audience, create something you want to give away that triggers that, like a dedicated weekly newsletter, for example, like my Raider Club, wink, wink, a checklist, a custom GPT bot, for example, or basically whatever you can think of. And then you create content to basically make people aware of their issue in whatever video that you create, and then tell them just to comment a specific trigger word to get it. Simple as that. And that whole thing works just because of a very simple reason. The algorithm sees an increase in comments and then you'll get pushed out way more. So for example, some of my clients literally get more comments than likes sometimes now, right? Because of this. And it's not just that their reach goes up significantly when doing this, but it's also usually pushing them into the next algorithm category, if you will. Let me show you an example. This is one of my clients. I blur the face because I know what you guys are going to do, and the username, bad people, you know, disturbing the nice life of some people here whenever I show somebody. But basically, if we look, the baseline views here are essentially, you know, right around 1,500 to 2,000. And you can clearly see there's a ceiling there, right? It doesn't really never go up there. And it's just a natural thing that happens, you know, especially if you start to create content. Now, guess what? The first ManyChat video was this one right here. Instantly, you can see an increase in views right there. And also if we click here, he got 124 comments and 108 likes. So, you know, more comments and likes. And as you can see, not long after, because obviously of other things as well, but this was a big part of this first breakout video. And that breakout video, if we go back up, even more up, pushed him into another sort of algorithm tier. You know, basically this is how it looks. Breakout video. And then basically it pushed him into tier number 2. Isn't that a beautiful drawing? The Mount Everest, the Eiffel Tower. Now, a side effect of this whole thing, which is actually the main effect, and the reach boost is literally the side effect, is getting emails and leads in that fuel basically your business. If you have a business, that's your social media, which you should, by the way. One video, and I tracked this, by the way, obviously, because I'm a professional, got me 1,145 comments, right? And knowing my stats, because like I said, I track them. They're not 100% correct because with organic stuff, it's actually literally not really possible. But with my offer structure and everything connected to it, I tracked roughly $26,000 coming directly from people commenting the word there, right? And then opting in, in my sequence, and then basically getting into my programs, which is just insane to think about. Honestly, I even get goosebumps because it's just super crazy to think about. I didn't even want to show this example right here just because it feels stupid. It feels like it's not true, but it actually is. Just look at this here. So you might be wondering right now, how complex is this whole system to set up to get results like this? I can tell you it's 0% complex. It's the simplest thing ever. It's basically this. A user comments on my reel, in this case, whatever reel, comment the word. I have some public replies. You know, let's not even get into that. It's just automated, but there are like lots of different ones, so it doesn't trigger the spam detection algorithm. And basically then they just get this message. So basically, hey, here's the link to the free hooks and curiosity gap breakdown. Essentially how this works and how I was able to make money with this actually was 348, even though it seems like it's a lower number than it actually was, but let's just assume this was the actual number. People sign up to my mailing list, go through some mailing sequences and stuff like this. And basically I have different products for different price points. But, for example, my creator mentorship, which is currently full, depending on when you watch this. But there was around 3 people signing up for the creator mentorship, one-on-one, and another person signing up for the lower ticket product. And boom, there you have it, 27K or 26K or something like that. And if you think about this whole thing, this whole ManyChat thing is basically a double wham. It's an algorithm boost plus a cash boost in a way. At least it's a lead boost. And it's kind of funny because you're way more forgiving to the algorithm if the cash boost is good, right? Already. So you're totally fine if you just get 10K views or 6K views if suddenly you get $2,000 with that. Right? So if you want to use ManyChat yourself to try this whole thing out, I first of all have a 30-day free trial available for you to test this whole thing out. And yes, this video is technically sponsored by ManyChat, but if you've been watching me for a while, I've probably been one of the first users, their first users back in 2017. And actually, we've been using this whole thing, like I said, for basically all of our clients to help them get better visibility in the algorithm mostly, right? And then leads and everything up there, right? Basically handling yourself up from small to big, like I showed you in the example before. Which brings me to the next point, which is essentially the full circle moment back to traditional media, TV, if you will. It's what I call creating a signature series. Clients actually have gotten crazy amounts of results recently with this, both on Instagram, TikTok, as well as YouTube Shorts. So essentially what this whole thing is, you find a major pain point or need of your audience, again, and basically create a mini series around this, basically forcing people to return because you set something up and then you have multiple parts of this that all are sort of their own video in a sense, so they can be viewed without the other parts, but still people understand it's part of a bigger series. So naturally, because it's one of their needs and pain points, they need to come back or follow you or at least save you, which is an important trigger for the algorithm. What I generally recommend in this case is, because people overcomplicate things a lot, it's basically starting off easy. So let's say you create a 4 to 6 part series within a week or 2. Don't go further than that. Don't create a 50-part series because people, they just don't have time. They can't waste time. And if you're smart, actually, you should also include one of the ManyChat automations, basically the same thing from there, just wrapped into the series every once in a while, obviously not always, to basically boost this whole thing even more and to help the algorithm figure you out even faster. We've had clients recently crushing it, getting millions of views, basically from almost zero by incorporating these 2 things that we just talked about, which actually gets me into the next strategy, which is kind of a combination of all of the ones before. And if you use this one strategically, I can tell you, you're gonna go far, kid. And it actually has everything to do with hooks, aka the thing you probably struggle the most with. Basically, what you want to do with the whole hook game, if you're like, I don't know what kind of hooks to create, I don't know, Dominic. It's basically borrow frameworks from competitors or content that you like and kind of analyze this and wrap it around your stuff. So let's say you do your research like discussed at the beginning. You check out top performing reels. I'm sure you're going to find patterns just looking at the hooks that you can basically use for your own content. Let's take a look at this random video right here.
This isn't a real sandwich shop. I made it with AI. A visual story built around one
it's just
idea,
a random thing
made to matter. Not gourmet, not fussy, just...
Okay, so we're past the hook at this point already. So basically he's like, this isn't a real sandwich shop. I made it with AI. A visual story built around the idea to make blah, 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 blah. So for example, you just take this and think, literally just go back to elementary school level and say, this isn't a whatever it is that your audience finds interesting, right? It's actually a something else, right? Some contrarian statement or something that is trending, in this case, AI. You could literally do the same with AI if it fits into your niche, but you don't have to. So get a little bit creative just to say, well, so this isn't a phone, an iPhone. It's actually Chinese clone that I bought and I still am not sure if it's real. And boom, you have a hook. That's amazing. And it's been tried and tested because this video has 4,000 likes, probably a lot of views. Thanks Instagram for not showing us the amount of views when you're on a video. Now, just doing that, what I just showed you as an exercise for a while, will help your hooks get massively better. But I actually have another thing for you, actually a free tool available for you to use, my Hook Analyzer GPT, where you can basically load your hook into it that you already created, and then this whole thing analyzes your hook and it gives you a score and gives you suggestions on how to actually make this whole thing better. People have actually told me that this thing has literally changed their game. You can grab it also in the description totally for free. You need to have a ChatGPT account though. Now, here's the thing. I kind of get it. This whole content creation game is pretty time consuming, especially if you have other things to do as well, which is why you want to systematically use tools like this to basically take the heavy load off of you and to actually help you with stuff, because these things actually stack up and free up a bunch of time for you. So this video here actually shows you a few more of those tools so you can actually spend time doing the things that actually matter.